Happy Sunday evening, everyone. If you landed here, you've landed on Let's Talk News. I'm your host, Leticia Remauro, on this, in South Carolina, it's a gloomy Sunday evening. But what's the weather like where you are? It's been a little bit of a slow weekend as respect to news. Except for the only thing we seem to be hearing about still is the Guthrie case. And that's unfortunate that they still have no real breaks in what's going on there. Hello, Kevin. Good to have you. Thanks for joining on this Sunday evening. Kevin Wall was here early from across the world. He said word salad upgrade indeed. He's going to watch us on replay because he cannot make it to the live chat, and that's just fine. We love when people watch on replay too, but we love to hear you live. So please, if you're here joining us, jump into the comments, talk to me, let me know what's going on. Hello, Lucille Chavon, our OG. Good to have you this Sunday evening. So what's the weather like in New York or New Jersey or Pennsylvania or wherever you are watching us from? Today I managed to do nothing but make soup and sow seeds, starter seeds. I sowed some basil, some cherry tomatoes, peppers I have growing already. And what else do I have growing? Oh, sweet pea flowers, which I'm really excited about, hoping that they all come up. All Epstein files have been released. Yes, they have. And now the lawmakers, the Democrats are going crazy. How do you release the files like that? You've uncovered people's names. You've exposed people. So it's just, I honestly, I know it's news, Kevin, but I could give a shit less anymore on these Epstein files. And you still have those lunatics trying to connect Trump in a negative way to these files, even though nowhere in the files, other than Epstein saying how much he hates him. We've already known what Trump was doing with Epstein in the beginning. We knew he threw him out of Mar-a-Lago. We knew he helped the victims. We knew Virginia Giuffre said that he never had sex with any of the girls nor her. So all of this we knew, and he kept saying, if you release the files, innocent people or people, are going to be hurt, not only the victims, but others. And we, of course, deep dived into these Epstein files, and we showed it to be exactly what it was. It was a Ponzi scheme. He was blackmailing people. He was setting them up and blackmailing them. Hi, Debbie Lebedo. And I know plenty of people that still do stuff like that today. Hi, Susan. Great to have you. Cold on Staten Island, huh? Yeah. Did they get rid of the snow? I'm so interested. I have been talking to somebody, a friend of mine who is in a borough president's office. And I asked him about the snow melters, another friend up at JFK, and they said that they have one for every borough, but for some reason they weren't running, and I just wonder why. Hello, they're saying 1 to 3 inches late tonight. Oh, more snow for you. God bless your souls. Mild and raining in Lancaster. Yeah, so we're getting these ginormous clouds that are going from the south to the north these days. Really interesting, these weather systems, how they are so enormous. They can cover so much ground. I've been doing spring cleaning and redid staircase and maintaining house before I get shoulder surgery, March 18th. March 18th, okay, after St. Patty's Day, but we all are praying for you to have a speedy recovery. Are you getting a rotator cuff or a replacement? I know women often have to have that, especially when they wear shoulder bags. I wear a crossbody now. I stopped wearing shoulder bags because my shoulders started getting paralyzed. I think they said frozen shoulder syndrome. Hello, Andrew Dorman. Good to have you. Epstein is a distraction. Yes, it is. We can't talk about the fact that the economy is doing great, that jobs are doing, creation is wonderful, that, gas, well, now gas is up again. Now it's because of the hostilities in Iran, that the gas companies have raised gas prices. A couple weeks ago was because of the cold snap. Um, I just can't. It's just every week it's something else. But once we've got a new Fed chair, and once that's going in the right direction, I think that we'll see some. Well, we'll not see any good news stories, but I mean, hopefully people are feeling it. A lot of people I talk to are feeling that things are going in the right direction, unless you're shopping at Walmart or Amazon or some of the other stores that what did they do? They future-proofed their profits by raising prices, thinking that tariffs were going to destroy their inventory, which they did not. I wish it would rain to wash away snow piles. Yeah, it has to get up warm though. Right here today was 53 degrees. It was nice. Yesterday it was really nice. Yesterday I was out planting bulbs. I planted about 200 bulbs throughout the property because I knew it was going to rain today, and it was beautiful. It was sunny, and the ground wasn't frozen because every night it's been in the 30s. So I started planting bulbs in October and November, and the weather was so inclement and so cold and raining and freezing that I couldn't finish. And this was the first chance I got. So I was storing them in a dry, dark place, but they were blooming in the bag. So I got them in the ground, and today's rain hopefully will get them watered. And with luck, we'll have some plants in March or April. We'll see. Hakeem Jeffries was on that list. Yes, I saw that, which I think is interesting. I think it's interesting. So. Hi, it was great to see you and Bobby leaving tomorrow. Hi, Mickey. It was great to see you. And yeah, I'll come by and say goodbye in the morning. But great to see you too. Mickey was here for a visit. It was really, really nice. Snow again tonight through tomorrow, on top of snow still here. Yeah, it's crazy. The winter is dragging its feet. Do you believe it's cloud seeding and weather manipulation? Could be. Could be. I'm just not sure of anything anymore. After seeing so much going on with our food and how that all worked, and what they've done to. I've been doing a lot of research on bread lately because I've been making bread, and oh my gosh. I've been fighting with making bread for 2 years. I don't even know if I talked to you about this. Not only sourdough, but all bread. And none of my breads were rising right. And, people used to joke, right? New York pizza and bread was only so good because of the water. Well, guess what? It was the water. I couldn't get the bread to rise right and get a right crust. But over the last week, I started using drinking water, bottled drinking water from Walmart. And oh my God, my bread, everything is rising. My sourdough, my bread. So I have a whole new love affair with bread. Why do I bring it up? Because I was reading about how back in the day, medieval times back in the day, the grain was different. The flour was different. They mixed rye in with wheat. And the bread would be shelf stable for like a month. And because it was such an important part of people's lives that a lot of nutrition was taken from it. But because it took so long to bake bread and to make the bread rise, the enzymes in it was like pre-digestion. And so when you ate it, you didn't have stomach issues, where now we have all these celiac and gluten, problems, blah, 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 all to do with the fact that now we have fast rising yeast. And we make bread very, very quickly. We skip the fermentation stage. The flour is white and bleached. We don't put that deep, nutritious flour in there anymore. So really interesting stuff about how food has been manipulated to, and also it only stays on the shelf like a week, or 2 weeks. It's not shelf stable, which, forces you to buy more. And, and stores throw them out and have to order new. So really interesting about our food system, not just our bread, our cows, how years ago cows weighed about 2/3 of what they weigh today. Um, yeah, and I don't know why that is. They bred them to be bigger, to get more meat from them. It's very, very interesting. Rotator cuff and torn bicep and labrum, not labium, labrum. Labrum is totally different. Well, I hope you heal quickly. I know it's a tough surgery, but you're a tough cookie. Did you lose many plants or bushes? I don't know yet, Angela. It looks like death out there because of the snow and the frost. But last year I only lost a couple, and this year, all suggestions. Clemson University has a horticulture department that is fantastic for South Carolina, for agriculture and for regular plants. And so they've recommended don't cut anything back until the frost is passed, which I think is this week. So I'll cut back the dead and see what happens next week, and we'll see what comes back. But I've been doing pretty good. I have mums out there that are still blooming. My snapdragons are still green. My pansies are fantastic. Winter pansies, of course. Yeah, really interesting. The things that died back. I had ferns that I just put in, red ferns from China, and you would think that they could take the cold, but they died. It looks like it may come back, but I don't know. Yeah, so we'll see, because I spent a couple $1,000s on my garden to get it just the way I like it, and we'll see what happens. My big concern is my white, oh my gosh, bird of paradise. I don't know. I bought 2 of those, and they do not look happy, but they say that they will come back if I cut them back. Okay, well wishes for Debbie. At least it's not the blizzard most weather forecasters were calling for. You're absolutely right about that. Hi, Karen. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. If you were eating my bread over the last year, you were getting rocks in your stomach. I get 1 out of every dozen loaves would be good. Now we got everything rising. Now we've got to figure out how to store it, because I made so much bread. I was putting it in paper bags, and it only lasted, it only stayed like fresh for like 2 or 3 days. So we've got to figure out how to store it properly in plastic bags without it getting too soft. But we'll figure it out. That's a good problem to have. What is your take on the kidnapping? Crazy. I'm not sure where it's coming from, why it happened. I still think that it was a random, but not random. I think it was a worker's family member, maybe from DR or Colombia. I do believe it was an illegal migrant behind it all, but we'll see. Debbie, if you need any help with anything, look at Angela Ricca is the best. Take her up on it. She is a great helper, great nurse. She will get you right back on your feet, Debbie. Hi, lost track of time. That's okay. We've been talking about bread and plants and winter, so you didn't miss anything, Francine. Try glass to store the bread. Good idea. I will do that. All right, so half the show is over, and we've talked about everything except for what we wanted to talk about, which is our next generation of elected officials. But since we have so many New Yorkers on the air, did you see what Mamdani with your tax dollars are going for? So Mamdani, because 16 homeless people froze to death, Mamdani gave them these blankets. He was out there handing out blankets, and this is what it says on them. That is not AI. That is what it says on them. Courtesy of Mayor Mamdani. Not his own money, because he doesn't have any, right? Taxpayer dollars. Yeah. And also, over the weekend, right, the new food store opened. I forgot, the free food store. Forgot the name of it. Apparently, it ran out of food in the first day. I'm just trying to figure out how 8 million people, 1 store, 5 boroughs. Now, and gambling association was who stocked the shelves on that one. Hi. Oh, no worries, Colleen. We're just starting now. We were talking about bread and plants. Why painkillers should I request? I'm afraid of the recovery. Everyone said it's a killer. Listen, here's, if you're not concerned, if you don't have any addiction problems, either Percocet or Vicodin work. Take them, properly for the beginning. So this way you're ahead of the pain and you never really don't get pain. You never really have pain. So like take them as prescribed. Don't mess around with that. Don't wait for the pain to come before you take them. But make sure that you ice your shoulder. The one thing I could tell you from my knee and my hip, if you ice, 20 minutes on, hour off, 20 minutes on, hour off. If you keep icing the area, you will recover really well. The whole idea is to make sure that you get mobility and you don't wind up freezing. So you have to do your movements, but ice. It's your best friend. And the painkillers ahead of your therapy and ahead of any exercise you're going to do will be terrifically helpful. If you are worried about Percocet or Vicodin, try Kratom. It's a natural painkiller. It works for me just as well as those prescription, and you can get that in any smoke shop, and you have plenty of those. Yes, she's having surgery. I guess she's gonna. You guys can talk it out. He is selling himself. Yeah, well, he's promoting himself, right? He wants to be president. That's the goal of the Democrat Socialists of America. They got him in as assembly member, then as mayor of New York City, and they think they're going to catapult him to president. Next generation. This is how they do it. Shameless. So I have no addiction problems, never. So then Percocet or Vicodin, try it out. There's a machine that ices the shoulder. Steve M said it was really helpful. Oh yeah, that's true. But I find a bag of peas, frozen vegetables, that works great. But they also have these mats that you put in the freezer and you just put them on, and then when you're finished, just put it back in the freezer and take it out. So that's really helpful. Oh well, Susan DeRema has one for you. Maybe you can. Maybe you can borrow it from her. It'd be very, the ice is everything. The ice is everything. Okay, so Alex Soros, he is taking over for his dad, right? I want you to, he is communism 2, socialism 2, 2.0. I just want. His father had a very heavy accent, but he was very well spoken. But I want you to hear this kid speak and tell me if it's just me or, well, just listen.
Is the fundamental issue in democracy. Democracy is messy. I mean, democracy is about contestation of ideas. It's about plurality. It's about people having different truths, actually. Now, fundamentally, how society lives together civically in those contestations is obviously quite tricky. But I think that if we play too much on this disinformation card, we're taking responsibility away from ourselves to actually create a narrative that inspires people to vote and to believe in democracy and democratic institutions.
Anyone? What? What the fuck is he talking about? What are these words? Contestation. I mean, we have to have these words that drive you nuts. I mean, they sound like encyclopedias, and they sound like AI. Yes, the action or process of disputing or arguing. Contestation. Democracy is contestation. No, it's not contestation. That is not what democracy is. Democracy is one man, one vote, but everybody's got to settle, right? Everybody's got to settle on and make a decision and come to the same conclusion. When has that ever happened? Ever. We only have two parties and we can't get that going. It's worse than Kamala Harris. Worse than Kamala Harris. Absolute word salad. Worse than, he sounds like he did an eighth of a cocaine or a shot of heroin, right? I mean, it was I was listening to it last night and I had a couple of drinks for Valentine's Day. So I said, maybe it's me. Let me listen again. Let me tell you something. That thing went on for an hour. He didn't go on for an hour, but that whole forum went on for an hour. And I had to listen to it twice and I couldn't get the full clip because that was like 10 solid minutes of him saying nothing. It was worse than Kamala Harris, and really the brains were starting to leak out of my ears. He sounds like, yeah, we said that already. Sorry. Wait till Wiener's laptop comes out. I believe Congress has requested it from NYPD. Alex's woman will have explaining to do. Oh, well, that's true. Well, let's see what happens with that. Good point, Colleen. Really good point. Hello, Ramon. Good to see you. I saw you were out helping people this weekend, and you're just a wonderful guy. Thank you for just being fantastic. Yeah, I can't tell you something about democracy being a bunch of people arguing, and that we have to make people confident in elections again. I think. New York is going to become like Cuba soon if the city doesn't wake up and go against Mamdani. Cuba is having major problems now. No gas, no electricity, no flights to fly in and out because of no fuel. That's socialism. That is. One thing goes wrong. I mean, they're blaming Trump and the what is it called? Oh gosh. What do we have on Cuba? Not tariffs, but we're not allowed to trade with them. We still do trade food and some other things, but anyway, the Democrats are trying to say it's our fault that Cubans are starving. No, it's socialist fault. It's communist. It's the dictator's fault. They go on for an hour to anesthetize people. Yeah, they do. And it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Hillary's word salad just needs Russian dressing. Yeah, really. Okay, let's see. And then, of course, AOC was at the Economic Forum. And, well, let's listen to her talk about Taiwan.
Would and should the U.S. actually commit U.S. troops to defend Taiwan if China were to move?
I think that this is such a, I think that this is of course a very longstanding policy of the United States. And I think what we are hoping for is that we want to make sure that we never get to that point. And we want to make sure that we are moving in all of our economic research and our global positions to avoid any such confrontation and for that question to even arise.
Froze. I guess the people speaking in her ear stopped speaking. What? I don't know. It's just crazy. It's crazy. Sanctions. It actually is an embargo is what it is. And Ramon, and sanctions. So we have had issues with Cuba since the 1960s. But there is some trade, there is some things that we have allowed to sell to them and whatnot, but it's their leadership that's the problem. Do you know that they put the majority of money in tourism, only 3% of their budget goes to healthcare and education? and the rest goes to tourism, to getting Americans over, or to getting other people over and pretending that they're not a dictatorship. It's crazy. I refuse to go to Cuba, not only because they'll kidnap you, but I'm not going to support the dictators. The people don't get any of that money. All the stores are run by the government. Cuba did what Venezuela did. They nationalized all the American businesses that were there. They took them from the Americans, and then arrested or kidnapped the business owners. Yeah, we don't need that. Yes, Cuba got oil from Venezuela, so Trump cut it off, and they're fucked. And Russia was a big benefactor of Cuba, and then the Russian economy went upside down back in the 70s and the 80s, right? And so, Cuba's in a bad spot. Iran's in a bad spot. Trump is strangling all the bad guys, little by little. Kind of cool to watch. What AOC said, she didn't know. Good job, AOC. Mix a drink. Oh my God, what the fuck? Come on, can't get the words out, AOC. Yeah, I'm telling you, the people talking in her ear forgot to talk. Clearly, she had no answer at all. No, she hadn't, and they're touting her to be the next president, to run for president. So you have Mamdani, you have her, and you have Newsom. That's what Mamdani is doing in New York. Yeah, exactly, absolutely. What Mamdani is doing is what happened in Cuba, and it's socialism, and it never works. But these idiots don't understand it. Here's one of Mamdani's followers. Listen to his logic. Listen.
What do you say to those folks who say, well, if you tax millionaires, they're going to leave the city, and the top 1% pays 40% of the taxes in the city, so what happens if they leave? What's your response?
Well, that's what I would say. It's like we should take their business, and we run it like for the city ourselves.
So if they take their business to Florida, you feel like you can keep it here?
I mean, they can't leave the building. They can't just bring their whole entire workforce to Florida, right? They can't bring all of the resources that they have to build the business here to Florida, right? That's a whole thing. And that's where you would even say, if we're building a real movement, right, to stop that, we'd also make it illegal for them to actually leave, right? We would fine them to hell if they're going to try to abandon their property here, right? Because clearly people do need to work, right? People do need to make a living. So
that guy has a master's in poli-sci or something, right? He absolutely has to have a master's in poli-sci, because the only way to get that stupid is to go 6 years to college, right? The only way. And he probably spends half his day playing video games. What? They can't take their business somewhere else. What are you talking about? You'll find them. How? If they left, how are you going to find them? They're going to have to leave the building. Okay. Well, the building is usually owned by somebody else. But okay, so they'll leave the building. So now you have an empty building with paying no taxes and no business and no jobs. They don't get it. They don't get it. I swear, the only way they can get that stupid is going to school for 6 years. That's the only way. Only way. Oh my God. And yet no free buses. Oh, those will be coming. What a dumb idiot this guy is. He's got a master's degree in something. I hope it's not economics, but possibly. Yeah. Holy shit. Find them to pay taxes. Yeah. We're going to find them. Yeah. And they're going to stay, right? Because the people with the money stay when they're being abused. They're going to stay around and pay more money to you instead of going to the other 49 effing states, right? So many companies are coming here to South Carolina that they don't have enough housing for all the workers. They're furiously building roads and housing. It's crazy. Cuba absorbed free enterprise swiftly, which led the other. Now Venezuela is free. What happens now? Well, it's not exactly free, but Trump is working with them to, get human rights back up to where they belong. And let's see what happens there. Free and fair elections too. Yeah, Harvard graduate, right? It's not Mamdani, it's the people who voted for him. And it's Mamdani, with all respect. They're selling a bunch of shit to people. All right, so the last word salad I have to screen share because I couldn't find this anywhere else. I know I have it somewhere in my archives, but I can't seem to find it. So we're going to watch another podcast handled the
politicians. They all do this. I mean, Obama, respectfully, the word salad he comes up with.
He doesn't say anything. He says
even on the
nothing.
Israel stuff, he's like, it's true that there's pain on both sides. And it's also true that there's pain on one side.
Right. But there is a new sheriff in the word salad department in town. And that man's name is Gavin Newsom. He can talk in a circle until everyone just gets tired and goes home with some key phrases in there. Here's the ultimate in word salad. Gavin Newsom.
Obviously, there was a lot of urgency to get this done.
Yes.
And this is an example of government working. What is the lesson learned on this urgency that may be applied to other things like homelessness or other things?
I mean, it's intentionality at the end of the day. It's focus. There it is. Commitment and resolve. Dropping everything else and just prioritizing a middle, beginning, and an end. We had a date with destiny in terms of our internal timelines and those that we transparently made public. And we wanted to exceed them. We wanted to beat our own best estimates. And so there was an internal competition of sorts between ourselves and agencies. There's pride in work. Pride in product. That pride was reflected in security paving and their team and the contract. To your question, the contract that provided time and materials and a 21% contingency bonus. We have partnerships. We have federal reimbursements. There are a lot of conditions that are unique and distinctive in an emergency like this. But absolutely, those things can be applied more broadly. And this can-do attitude, moving heaven and earth, as we reflected and stated over a week ago, should be brought to bear on a lot of other things. So to me, this is directional. It's a flywheel effect. I think it only bodes well for subsequent work across the spectrum of issues here in this state. I always say this, they've been a mirror of your consistent thoughts. Whatever you focus on, you'll find more of. I hope folks focus on the success of this and they'll find more successes. The mayor's successes locally, the supervisor's successes in her districts, assembly members and senators, congressmen and women that are doing good work everywhere and also should be recognized, not just the things we fall short of expectation, but the things where we exceed expectation.
I have no idea what he thinks he succeeded at, but I think that was a press conference about either one of the highways or the light rail. And it was recent, and he was acting as if he had a big success, and it was actually a big, huge failure. But that's what they do, right? They gaslight and they pretend and they lie, and that's what happened. So anyway, thank you for spending your Sunday with me. It was great to have you. We have some comments here. They sell a bunch of shit while I sell plenty of toilets where a bunch of shit can go. Oh, that's great. Big business leaving New York City. Absolutely. Gavin Newsom is a meme with words. Yes, he is. That's great. Thank you. Thank you. Better switch to French dressing on the word salad. Otherwise, it can switch to Italian dressing. It would be easier to understand them if he was speaking a foreign language. I mean, these $10 words that mean nothing. They're like psychiatrist words. I don't get them. I think the hair gel he uses got to his brain. Yeah. No, it's gaslighting. If you pretend that you're doing well, everybody will believe you. That's been an old trick, an old salesman trick, an old trick from Wall Street, right? What did they used to say? If you're having financial difficulties, spend more. So people never know because you want people to keep confidence in you. Same thing, in politics, you pretend and people will buy your bullshit. And that's why Congress looks the way it does today. And that's why America looks the way it does today. Love you all. I will see you tomorrow at 8:00. Thanks for joining me. Good night.